what would be your advice to people in the classic anxious-avoidant relationship, the two polarities coming together?
Understand where each one's coming from. I mean, why is someone an avoidant? They're not evil. They're not mean. They're not, it can be pretty horrible to be on the receiving end of certain kinds of pattern of behavior. But let's try and remember, why does this exist? Someone becomes avoidant when they've grown up in a emotional calorie-controlled diet environment where they have had to get used to very little. The way they survive is mum's not so interested, dad's not interested, no caregiver around, a lot of disappointment. I'm just going to hunker down and get used to very little, literally like an animal that gets used to a very thin diet. That is what has happened to an avoidant person. And then when they get to love and someone goes, I adore you, let's spend every evening together, let's, you're marvelous. They feel, but often they don't even understand that they're feeling it, totally engulfed. They feel overwhelmed. They feel their very identity is in threat of dissolution by something that's lovely, but it's too much too soon. And what they need is an experience of love titrated. They need the titration of love. But often they don't know how to ask for it. They don't even know. Often they might smile through it and go, I'm not really feeling this. And then they can't bear it, and then they run away or just become weird or something. So explanation, hello, I'm somebody who had to get used to a very, calorie-controlled diet emotionally. I really feel warmly this relationship matters a lot to me, but the kindest thing is not to be too kind to me in an overwhelming way. The most generous thing is not to be too abundant. Not because I don't want this, but because I grew up in a situation of deprivation. So that's our avoidant friend. Anxious friend, similar kind of story of explanation. Why do people become so-called anxious? Normally because, unlike the avoidant person, they have had an experience of love. So in some ways, the anxious person's had a better childhood, better journey through life, in a way. They have experienced love, but they've also experienced loss and the disruption of that attachment. So someone died, someone went away, someone had to go to, the army, something happened to disrupt the bond. It was very intense, but it was disrupted. And that person needs to understand that they are, there's a wonderful sentence from Donald Winnicott, great psychoanalyst, who said, the catastrophe you fear will happen has already happened. And the key thing is, it's been forgotten. You forgot the catastrophe. And that's why you keep seeing it in the future, whereas actually it belongs in the past. So what you need to do is understand this structure and repatriate the emotion and put it back where it belongs. And so the avoidant person at dinner, on an early date needs to go, I really want to believe in your love. But if you say you love me, I might not be able to believe it very easily. And what I will do is test it. And the person might go, test, fine, fire away. And the anxious person should go, yeah, this test's going to be quite unhealthy, quite horrible. It's going to mean that when you say, I love you, I'm going to start to act up because I want to see if you really do. So I'm going to be really difficult around you not because I don't want you, but because I want to test whether your affection is really real. And the only way I know how to do that, because I'm carrying this stuff from childhood, is to act up, play up. And so when we're in a nice restaurant and you tell me that, things are great, I'm going to say, actually, the food's not that nice and I don't really like the clothes you're wearing. And I'm going to cause a drama. Why? To test whether the love is real. Very unfortunate. So the more the anxious friends can get on top of their anxiety, the more they can translate everything I've just said into something that sounds like it's been processed and can be understood by another person, then the better it can be. So, anxious and avoidant people are walking wounded, and they need to be able to explain the nature of their particular wound so that appropriate care can be set up. Awareness, which is why, it's great for people to go to therapy. It's great for people to explore themselves. It's not merely fancy. It's not really whatever. It's a serious indicator of an easier life with them. I mean, if you're with a partner who's able to go, okay, hang on a minute. I think I'm slipping down. I think I'm confusing you with my mother at the moment. Or I think an anger that actually belongs to my father is weirdly in the room, because that's what happens when you start to explore your past. You see the intermingling of past and present all the time. And the more you're able to get a handle on that and warn your partner, the easier it is. I mean, we don't need people to be perfect. We need people to understand how they're imperfect and warn us of the coming imperfection or retrospectively apologize for it in relatively civilized terms. That's what we need.
Sleep isn't just about how long you rest, but also how well your body stays in its optimal temperature zone throughout the night. And this is where 8 Sleep comes in. Just add their brand new Pod 4 Ultra to your mattress like a fitted sheet, and it automatically cools down or warms up each side of your bed. It's got integrated sensors that track your sleep time, sleep phases, HRV, snoring, and your heart rate with 99% accuracy. It even starts cooling or heating your bed an hour before your bedtime. And that's why it's been clinically proven to increase total sleep time by up to 1 hour every night. I've been using my 8 Sleep mattress for years, and I literally can't imagine life without it. I'm on the road at the moment in London, and it feels medieval to not have an actively cooled and heated mattress topper. It is a total game changer. Best of all, they have a 30-night sleep trial, so you can buy it and sleep on it for 29 days. And if you don't like it, they'll give you your money back. Plus, they ship internationally. Right now, you can get $350 off the Pod 4 Ultra by going to the link in the description below or heading to 8sleep.com/modernwisdom using the code modernwisdom at checkout. That's eightsleep.com/modernwisdom and modernwisdom at checkout. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you enjoyed that clip with Alain, you'll love the full-length 2-hour-long podcast, which I've been waiting over 10 years to do by going right here.